Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Night 2 of Forbidden Door. Right then, here we go, kicking things off tonight with a fatal four-way elimination match featuring Sting, who is representing AEW. We've got Atlantis, who is representing CMLL. We have got Hiroshi Tanahashi representing New Japan Pro Wrestling, and AJ Styles representing Ring of Honor. So let's have a quick look at the ranking system. And Sting currently is in 33rd position in the ranking system with +9 after 38 matches, so pretty damn good for him. Then Atlantis Senior. This is his first ever appearance in SWE. We've utilised his son before, Atlantis Junior, but this is the original Atlantis. I'm going to put Atlantis Senior on the ranking system just so I know who's who. There we go. So he is making his debut here this evening. Hiroshi Tanahashi, someone who is doing terribly in our universe mode, currently sits on -3 after 18 matches. He will be desperate for some big points here today to try and turn that one around. While finally representing Ring of Honor, we have got AJ Styles, currently +16 after 48 matches, currently sitting 14th in the ranking system. So a very high position for him. And I say it's a big opportunity. I mean, both Sting and AJ Styles are doing pretty well. Atlantis making his debut. Tanahashi having an absolute shocker. It really is a chance for any one of these four guys to really showcase what they can do. And of course, this is just the beginning of our 7-match card. We have got 4 championships up for grabs tonight as well, starting off with our next match. Aja Kong defending the SWE Hardcore Women's Championship against Natsuko Tora. Rezar will defend the Underground Championship against John Moxley. Mercedes Moné will defend the YouTube Women's Championship against Stephanie Vaquer. We will have a WarGames as the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Hechicero and Josh Alexander take on the House of Torture, Evil, Sanada, Ren, Narita and Douki. We'll have another Fatal 4-Way Elimination Legends 4-Way later on tonight as Jushin, Liger, El Santo, Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson all clash before the main event of the evening. Will Ospreay defending his Intercontinental Championship against Swerve, Strickland and Bandido in a triple threat match. We've got some crackers then lined up for tonight, haven't we? AJ there with the strikes, now going to take Tanahashi up into a brainbuster. As Atlantis now going to rain down. Look at that stiff strike right across the face. And he's going to go for it again. A real stiff strike right across the face by Atlantis. And I mean, any one of these four guys could go on to win this match. There's no real favourites at all. It literally is for big rated people. Again, they're all rated in the 90s, these four, so it really could go either way. Atlantis now going after Sting. Sting fighting back with a stiff right arm. And remember, I mean, not Tanahashi necessarily, but AJ Styles and Sting will definitely be involved next week when it comes to when worlds collide. I'm just wondering whether Atlantis, what has he been up to in the past? He's mainly with CMLL. It looks like he was only ever with CML by the looks of it. Apart from working time. Oh no, he did work for AAA as well. Not as much. The majority of his career was with CMLL and NWA as well. But he did work a little bit of time in AAA. Oh, he's done many mask versus mask matches. Has he won them all? His most recent mask versus mask match was against La Sombra, who otherwise known as Andrade. All in CMLL. Yes, we did do a little bit of AAA by the looks of it. Back in 2000, maybe, by the looks of it. I know, maybe not. No, I just read the words AAA and assumed that he'd wrestled there. Not necessarily, no. Okay, so they left CML. Okay, I don't think he did actually work for AAA then, to be honest. Let me just Google. Because yeah, it's another person we could have utilised, to be honest with you, but it looks like again he was much more of a CMLL wrestler. If he did do a bit of AAA, it was a very minuscule amount by the looks of it. Sting now with the strikes. AJ Styles with a knee into the gut, grabs a hold of Sting. Sting fighting back with a strike into the face. Notable matches. Oh, the ice cream man's coming. I can't see much stating that he did actually work for AAA at all, to be honest. So it looks like he was solely just CMLL, really. I mean, the Wikipedia is massive. I ain't bloody reading that. I think we've got enough to get us through. AAA have got some big names. I've searched for the legends of AAA utilising the classic ChatGPT, so I'm sure we'll be able to find what we need to find. There's a pin here on the outside by Sting on Hiroshi Tanahashi. For me, Tanahashi needs this. He needs to win this match. He needs to get a couple of eliminations as well, to be honest. Atlantis now standing on the back of the knees of AJ, going to bring him up into the surfboard submission hold. Look at Sting now, that big strike knocking Tanahashi flat out. Will that be enough to get the first elimination of the match? There's the pin. Good lag spike there. We're fine. Stop sign. Sting now, stop sign right between the eyes of AJ Styles, and then launch it down at the ground at Atlantis as well. I mean, I know obviously Sting is representing AEW, and I have utilised the WCW Sting. I just wanted to use Sting in his prime. We've used old-fashioned Sting so often. I wanted to try and use a prime Sting. And I know AJ Styles, I've utilised obviously current day AJ Styles, and that is mainly because I'm lazy. And I couldn't be bothered to try and find an old-fashioned one. But I think this is a good one anyway. I have upped AJ Styles' ability, of course, in the game. I think he's only rated at 85. I don't agree with that. I think AJ Styles should be higher rated based on his entire career. There's a cloverleaf submission here by Tanahashi on AJ Styles, wrenching back. He tapped. He did tap, yes. AJ Styles is gone, eliminated by Hiroshi Tanahashi. Styles then drops down to a 0 for the year, a plus 15 overall. But Tanahashi, he needs this. That puts him up to a plus 2 for the year, minus 2 overall. And no matter what happens now, then Tanahashi will not leave this match down, if that makes sense. He's got an elimination. If he now loses the match, he's still going to come out of this match like neutral, because he got a point and lost a point. But if Tanahashi can get another 1 or 2 here, this will be massive. Here's a pin now by Tanahashi on Atlantis. Only a 2 count. As Sting throwing the guitar at Tanahashi. Sting now bringing Atlantis back up to a standing base. Send him straight into the barricade before flattening Hiroshi Tanahashi. Yeah, Tanahashi needs this one, I think. As Sting now raining down the strikes into the face. Sting now, ooh. Atlantis ducked it and caught Sting with the right hand right into the face. Atlantis now with that loose powerbomb taking down Sting, but Tanahashi smart here. Tanahashi knows he needs as many eliminations as possible, so he did not let Atlantis pin Sting. Instead, he now picks Sting up to continue some of the assault himself. Tanahashi now gets the elbows in the gut by Sting. Atlantis just launched a kendo stick into the middle of them. Atlantis now, lovely drop kick. Oh, Sting crashes face first into the barricade. Nice gut-wrench suplex as well. And now, yeah, Sting struggling. Atlantis in control. Tanahashi comes around with the trash can lid right across the back of Atlantis, looking to plant one across the head as well. But Atlantis stole the trash can lid and flattens Tanahashi and launches it at Sting's face as well. There's the pin by Atlantis. Will this be enough? No, it's only a 1 count. Wow. And now look at Atlantis rolling Sting over into a Scorpion Deathlock of his own. And no, it's not enough for the elimination. The Sling Blade there by Tanahashi into the pin on Atlantis. He's got it. Wow, Tanahashi's second elimination of the match. This is massive for Tanahashi. No matter what happens now, he's coming out of this match on a positive. He's up to +3 for the year, -1 overall. Tanahashi, if he can also take out Sting, that would be massive. Atlantis seeded and moves down to a -1 after his debut. There's the pin by Tanahashi. This could be enough. He's bloody done it, Tanahashi. Oh my god, how much did he need that? Not only has he won the match, he's eliminated all 3 of his opponents, puts him up to a +5 for the year now, which is huge, but more importantly, moves him up to a +1 overall. He's gone from a -3 to a +1 in 1 match. Huge turnaround for him. He's gone from 970th position up to 343rd. He's got up. What's that? That's like 540 positions? Nope. 640 positions. 630 positions. Or 627 positions with 1 match. That's a huge win by Tanahashi. He really, that's huge. I'm so happy. Because I keep talking about the cream rising to the top and eventually it'll happen, and that's exactly what's happened here today. I mean, AJ Styles, Sting are both taking a hit. We have not updated Sting yet. Let's do that now. Sting, with that loss, then reverts down to a +8, -1 for the year. But, I mean, yeah, those 2 guys have lost a point, but Tanahashi going from a -3 to a +1 in 1 match was where he should be. Tanahashi should be at the upper echelons of the ranking system. He should be up there, potentially fighting for chances at going for the World Championship, the All-Asian Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, all that sort of stuff. But it hasn't happened as of yet because of how low he has been rated. But now is his chance. He's got himself a big win here today, and I'm sure when we get back to doing some more stuff with New Japan, we can build upon that, and hopefully he can continue to showcase what he can do. Right, match 1 is beneath us. Let's now move into the first championship match. We've got 3 championships matches in a row coming up. First of all, then, the Women's Hardcore Championship, Aja Kong versus Natsuko Tora. And here we go then, our first championship match of the night as Aja Kong makes a defense of the SWE Women's Hardcore Championship against Natsuko Tora. So Aja Kong has had a fantastic year so far. She started the year on -6 in the ranking system, more or less rock solid bottom. However, after a few very good performances from Aja Kong, she now has +6 for the year, which has balanced her back out at 0, moved up to 243rd position. And here is a big opportunity for another victory, which would take her up into the top 90 in our ranking system, which would be really good. I mean, Aja Kong deserves to be one of the top women in the Universe Most, one of the best women in wrestling's history, and I think the hardcore division is a very good place for her to be. But she takes on someone who only debuted 2 weeks ago in Natsuko Tora. However, in those 2 weeks, she has amassed herself 4 points from 2 matches. One, of course, was the 6-man tag match against Triangle of Madness. And then also, she won the elimination match the other day to qualify for the number 1 contendership here. She defeated Dallas, Nikki Knuckles, and Thunder Rosa. But one-on-one against Aja Kong is a completely different animal. Aja Kong is an absolute beast of a human being. Just looking, at the actual ranking system, and there's some people like Lyra Valkyria we've only ever used once, which is surprising me. There's probably others as well. I mean, maybe not Ren Bangalski or Alaya, I suppose. But it's quite a few who just had a very small amount of matches, which surprised me because they are big names we should be utilising a lot more. And I feel like we should probably try and fix that moving around when Worlds collide. Haven't got anything planned in for the women's division as of yet. I think just picking a few women that I think would suit the style of the AAA and TNA women really well. As Tora, lovely running clothesline, flattening Aja Kong. Of course, this is the first championship match of the night. We still have Rezar versus John Moxley up next. We have Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer for the SWA Women's YouTube Championship. And we have the main event of the evening. Will Ospreay defending his Intercontinental Championship in a freeway against Swerve, Strickland and Bandido. So remember, this is Extreme Rules, it's hardcore. And it's Tora who is going to be the first one to grab a weapon. She has a sledgehammer right into the gut of Aja Kong. And now just raining the strikes down to her grounded opponent. Tora now raining down the strikes. And is in firm control here. Aja Kong does roll to the outside. And Aja Kong now has herself a ladder. Not the most useful thing in a match like this, because they never seem to use them correctly. They always seem to try and use them as a blunt object, which is frustrating. I would like a little bit better AI next time round, so they actually... Maybe they use the ladder like a table, like set it up and then try and put somebody through it, or... Just something like that, rather than this stupid way they do things on the game. Aja Kong now taking Tora up into a belly-to-belly slam on the outside. And now Aja Kong taking Tora up. Tora able to slide free. And look, oh my god, an inverted scoop slam dropping Aja Kong face first. Absolutely brutal. Aja Kong now fighting back. Had a hold of the sledgehammer. Not enough though. And now look at Tora once again taking Aja Kong up. Michinoko driver on the outside. Remember, this is no disqualifications, no countouts. Pinfalls and submissions can take place outside the ring, I believe. It is false count anywhere, isn't it? As they now battling Aja Kong with a jawbreaker on Tora. Up against the ropes. What is Aja Kong's plan here? Just springing Tora back into the middle of the ring. Now drops into the pin for the one. Only a one count. Tora back up on her feet, running clothesline. And again, taking down Aja Kong for the trifecta of clotheslines. Aja Kong back up into the corner. And Tora follows it up with a boot right into the gut. And then look for a running knee strike in the corner. It was Aja Kong who got the legs up. Kong now up on the middle rope, looking to drop with a big elbow right to the heart of Tora. I got there eventually, got the right words. It's only a 2 count though. Aja Kong now takes a big boot right into the face. Tora now had Aja Kong up against the ropes. Aja Kong fighting back with the elbow and then a super kick as well. Before she rolls Tora over. Gonna bring her back up the hardware. We've seen this in the past. Gonna follow it up with the Hurricane, knocking Natsuko Tora flat out. Is it out cold though? For the 1, the 2, and no! On the brink of 3, but not quite enough. Aja Kong now, big strike across the back of her head. And now under the ring, looking for some more toys. What has she found? She's found herself a table again. Not ideal for these games. I wish we had more. I wish we had like thumbtacks and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool on this game, but it is what it is. Nice takedown. Tora now in control. Just wrenching back at the face and the eyes of Aja Kong. And I think Tora will be the underdog for this match. Make no stretch of it. I'm sure she's not expected to come out of this one as the victor. I mean, Aja Kong is the favourite. It's not going to be a massive surprise if Tora wins, don't get me wrong, but Aja Kong will be the favourite. Look at those elbows by Tora. Stiff elbows. Aja Kong flops to the ground. Slowly coming back up to her feet on the outside. Tora tried to catch her, but Aja Kong with a stiff forearm. Natsuko Tora taking control, springs her off the ropes, ducks underneath, and then in with a spear, but it's reversed into a DDT. And now Aja Kong looking for it once again. She's already hit that Hurricane once in this match. If she hits it a second time, surely that's going to be enough to retain their Hardcore Championship. There's the pin for the 1, for the 2. No, it's still only a 2. Natsuko Tora showcasing her resilience in this match. As Aja Kong once again stalking. Okay. I thought she was thinking about another Hurricane, this time sending Tora straight into the corner. Nobody puts Tora in the corner. Aja Kong now taking Tora up onto the shoulders. Tora slides free. There's the boot into the gut. And now up. Nice X-Plex. It's like an X-Plex into a sidewalk slam. There's the pin. Oh, it's a 2 count. You know, that wasn't far off, you know. Stiff short arm clothesline by Tora, who now heads up to the top rope. And then in with a senton bomb. There's the 1. There's the 2. No, it's still only a 2 count. Tora now is walking quite sluggishly on the outside, though. Feels like she might have taken quite a bit of damage here. I think she was looking to grab some toys, the sides against it, as Aja Kong was back up on her feet. Kong now taking Tora up. I've got a feeling this isn't Falls Count anyway, you know. Aja Kong is in control now. Running splash, taking down Tora once again. Nice stiff clothesline. Tora comes across. She's going to grab a hold of the table. Not quite sure what the plan is here. Throws it towards Tora. Taking Aja Kong up towards the ring steps. I mean, this could go either way at this point in time. I said that Aja Kong was the favourite, to be honest. Tora has started to really take some control in this match. There's the elbow on the inside of the knee of Aja Kong. Smart manoeuvre. You weaken the knee. If you want to take down a redwood, you've got to chop its trunk. Tora now has the kendo stick. Comes running across. Aja Kong smartly able to knock it out of her hands. Tora fighting back with the elbows. Look at the uppercut there by Aja Kong. Now Saito suplexing Tora, crashing to the mat. Aja Kong now underneath the ring, looking for some toys. Found herself a steel chair right between the eyes of Tora. Again, though, I don't think she can pin on the outside. I think she has to get back in the ring. But I mean, that's brutal. Absolutely rained down those 3 massive steel chair shot strikes onto Tora. Back into the ring. This could be Aja Kong's opportunity. She rolls wherever. She's a dead weight here. This could be enough. For the 1, the 2. Only a 2 count still. Aja Kong now. Big overhand strike to the back of Tora, who slowly gets back up to her feet. Is Aja Kong going to do it? Yes, for the 3rd time in the match. There's the Hurricane, and surely that's enough to retain the SWE Women's Hardcore Championship. There it is. Right then, Aja Kong with that win continues her great performance in 2025. That moves up to a +1 overall, a +7 for the year, and moves her all the way up into the top 90. She goes into 89th position, which is actually joint 59th. I mean, one more victory, you move into 59th position. 2 more victories, you're into 43rd position. So you're not actually that far away from really getting yourself up towards the top end of the table now. That's what it needs. A few big wins like that, and Natsuko Tora with her first ever loss in SWE. She drops down then to a +3 after 3 matches. So still a very good position and a very good run. And I'm sure someone we're going to see some more of in the future. Right, Aja Kong defended versus at Forbidden Door. There we go. Right, so that's that updated. Oh, okay. I've got some matches already planned in by the looks of it. We've got a number 1 contendership for the Women's Tag Team Championships. We'll have to deal with that then. When Worlds Collide, that'll work out pretty well. The Bella Twins versus Io and Kairi. That was a really good match then. It was a real back and forth. Could have really gone either way, but in the end it went the way of the current champion, Aja Kong, which I'm happy about, to be honest. Aja Kong is somebody we could still utilise as part of When Worlds Collide, because she did work for WWE for a while. We might not. We might let her have a bit of time off. I'm not sure yet. Do we have a planned in for the shows, the WWE versus ECW versus stuff? I don't know. We do, actually, yes. Okay. I think we leave this then for now. I think we leave the Women's Hardcore Championship because PJ Toby did put together a match for Aja Kong, which is Aja Kong representing WWE, Bull Nakano representing WCW, and Jazz representing ECW for the Women's Hardcore Championship. I like that, so I think we might give Aja Kong a couple of weeks off when we do When Worlds Collide and save her up for that big pay-per-view. Right, I'm going to love you, leave you. I'm not. What am I on about? I got confused there for a second. I'm going to love you, leave you, and I'll see you in the next match. And here we go then, the SWE Men's Bloodsport Championship is on the line here as Rezar makes his first championship defense since winning the belt only back at the last pay-per-view against Batista. Tonight here, he is defending against Jon Moxley. Now Moxley, this was a bit of a last-minute decision by us to add this match in Moxley last couple of weeks, that it only made sense to give this opportunity to the pair of them. We had the number 1 contendership match yesterday, and it was Moxley who defeated Suzuki in what was an absolutely brutal match. These underground matches have become very brutal recently. And this is Moxley's big opportunity, because I feel like out of all the matches tonight, this is probably the one that I'm most confident that the belt's going to change hands. Nothing against Rezar, don't get me wrong. He was fantastic. He defeated Batista. He deserves his championship reign. But Jon Moxley might just be a step too far for Rezar. Right then, the referee showing Jon Moxley what it's all about, that championship. Hold it up high. It's going to be an interesting match, this one. Like I said, I believe Moxley's got to be the favourite for this one. There's the rules. No pinfalls, no counts. The only way to win is by submission, knockout, or referee stoppage. 9 times out of 10 it is referee stoppage that is given. And this is really... Jon Moxley's done this a lot, hasn't he? He has been in and around the Bloodsport division over in GCW a few times, and he is just this sort of guy. He's more of a fighter. He's more of a brawler. He's a guy who is happily just going to take somebody out. And already early in the match, locking in the submission, but Rezar able to fight back. And it's fun the fact that Rezar was the one who got this opportunity. Of course, he pinned Batista in a 6-man tag elimination match. We had Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain up against Triple H, Batista and Randy Orton. So Rezar pinned Batista, which is how he got this opportunity to fight for the championship in the first place. And it just so happens that Rezar is the one with the history of MMA fighting before he joined WWE, which is pretty cool. So Reed has given the opportunity to showcase what he can do, and that's the way it works. I mean, we book the shows, yeah, don't get me wrong, we book the shows, but at the same time, things happen, and we'll always try and react to whatever happens, and as long as it makes sense. And that's exactly what done. Rezar forced our hand here. And it all stems back. It's the butterfly effect, isn't it? The fact that Karrion Kross defeated Triple H one-on-one led to Rezar having this match here at Forbidden Door. Because that win by Karrion Kross against Triple H led to the tag team match between Karrion Kross and Scarlett, Triple H and Stephanie, which of course Triple H and Stephanie won, which then led to the Buffer match, which was the 6-man tag match, which allowed Rezar to pin Batista, which brought us here. As John Moxley once again going with the STF, which is a John Cena submission hold. Nice clothesline there by Rezar. Boot right across the chest. And now wrenching back at the neck, Rezar. Moxley able to break free and tripping Rezar over. Mox now dragging Rezar across the ring. Gonna send him, crash into the outside. Two guys had to duck there because, you can go out in this. Okay. You can go out into the crowd in this one, then, can you? Where's Mox off to? I don't know where Mox is off to here. We've never sort of seen him do this before, but Moxley's leading Rezar somewhere. What is Moxley doing? Is he bugged? Well, he moved out of the way at the last moment. Now we're battling right here at the top of the arena. And there's the Death Rider on the outside on the concrete. Referee, though, says she can still see life in the eyes of Rezar. And the match must continue on. Nice DDT there by Moxley on Rezar. Again, they're on the outside now, right up by the stage. Moxley now pulling away at the knee. Not quite to sort of lead Rezar all the way up to the top of the ramp here and fight up here. But, I mean, it's been effective for him so far. Hit the Death Rider in that big DDT. Rezar now, though, getting some offense back, taking Moxley up on the shoulders, dropping him in with that powerbomb, flopped him face first into the ground. I tell you what, if Rezar was to retain the championship here, that would be an amazing result for him. Rezar now in control of Mox, dragging him back towards the ramp. Remember, it is basically the match can end anywhere. It doesn't have to finish inside the ring. The referee can decide to stop it wherever she feels necessary. Nice hip toss there by Rezar, taking down Moxley. Remember, this is the second of 4 championship matches tonight. We'll have the third one up next after this one. Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer. The main event, of course, Will Ospreay defending the Intercontinental Championship in a freeway. Rezar has been busted open, and the longer that goes, the more the match is going to start to benefit Moxley, I think. There's liquid energy running from your skull when you start to get busted open like that. Mox dropping Rezar face first again on the concrete. Now, we are far away from any of the matted zones. Maybe that's why Moxley has brought him all the way up here. I say we are far, far away from any of the mats. And now look at the submission. And there's the tap with a brand new champion, Rezar. Not the most impressive of defenses, but either way, Jon Moxley is your new champion. I expected Jon Moxley to be our new champion as well, to be honest, but there we go. Reinforces exactly what I thought was going to happen. And Rezar, I say, he's had an impressive time. He defeated Batista at Mayhem to win the championship. It was a really good run for him, along with what many expected it. Well, this is his first championship defense, isn't it, really? But I mean, the fact that he won the belt to start with was a massive surprise to most people. But Moxley, that must have been it, you know, the big Death Rider double arm DDT on the concrete there, weakened the neck and the shoulders of Rezar. So when he did lock in this submission hold, it was an easy tap out. And he's got nowhere to go, Rezar, up there on the ramp. Nowhere to go. One from Rezar at Forbidden Door. There we go, okay. So Jon Moxley has been an absolute superstar this year so far. We've really seen massive increases from him. This now puts Moxley up to a +8 for the year, which is probably one of the highest increases so far, and puts him up to a +10 overall, which now puts him up to 33rd position, which is actually joint with 25th position. Some big names there, the likes of Hulk Hogan, Mil Muertes, Bruiser Brody, Kofi Kingston, Rick Steiner, Pete Dunne, The Rock, all on +10 as well. And then Rezar, he's had a good year, better than many would have expected him to have, but with that loss then, his first singles loss probably ever, to be honest, he moves down to a +1 overall, -1 for the year. I mean, a +1 overall is still pretty damn good for Rezar, to be honest with you. Just being in the positives, I would imagine. But there we go. Our first championship has changed hands here tonight, and as Jon Moxley defeats Rezar. And now we move on to our third championship match of the night. And here we go, and this is what it's all for. The SWE Women's YouTube Championship. Mercedes Moné, who has held the belt for a little bit of time now. Let's have a quick goosey gander and see. She won it back at Evolution in a singles match from Stephanie Vaquer. So this is Stephanie's chance to win the belt back. And as far as I'm aware, this is Mercedes Moné's first defense since then, because, well, either it's the first defense since then, or I've just not updated the spreadsheet like I should do, which is very possible as well. Mercedes Moné's had a pretty good year so far. She's got 4 from 4, which has put her +4 overall. So she's gone from being mediocre to getting herself up to the top 22 in the ranking system. I mean, a victory here would get her into the top 20, which would be massive for her. And Stephanie Vaquer does sit slightly ahead of Mercedes Moné on +5, and it's also +5 for the year for for Stephanie Vaquer as well. I mean, that little chunk of the women's roster, you've got Io Sky, Azumi, Stephanie Vaquer, Megan Bayne, and Mercedes Moné. All of those 5 ladies have had fantastic years so far. Same with Awesome Kong. It's +4 for the year. Rhea Ripley's been the best so far, +7 for the year. We've had quite a few movers and shakers in the women's division. Referee now breaking it up in the corner. Stephanie Vaquer versus Mercedes Moné, of course, actually happened at Forbidden Door a couple of years ago. It was the match that many believe got Stephanie Vaquer signed into WWE. It's a bit of a shame. Would like to have seen her a bit more in WWE, to be honest, but I'll be honest, I don't really watch much WWE, so I've not really seen a huge amount of her. I've seen clips and bits and bobs here and there, so I mean, it'd be nice to utilise it, of course, when we come to do When Worlds Collide next week for Forbidden Door. She'll definitely be... Yeah, I can't even talk. Let's start this again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're right, we're back. Right, let's stop talking crap now and get it right. It'd be nice to utilise Stephanie Vaquer, of course. We can use her as part of When Worlds Collide because she does work for WWE, and I think she does done a little bit of AAA in the past, has she? I might be wrong. The Stephanie Vaquer thing is a little bit iffy as well. I've got to be careful because I know there are some people in AAA that she should not really be involved with. No, she hasn't worked for AAA at all. She's worked WWE, All Elite Wrestling, Rev Pro, New Japan, and CMLL. So, of course, there was a situation. I don't know a ton about it, so I'm not going to go much into it. She filed a criminal complaint against a wrestler who was her boyfriend or fiance at the time. They both worked for CMLL. I believe it was something to do with domestic abuse. And some wrestlers chose to sort of back up the wrestler that she accused, which led to her also putting some more restraining orders in, I believe, something along them sort of lines. And I think some of those people do currently work for AAA. I'm not 100% sure who they are. I've got a feeling there's a couple in the women's division. So I might have to just be a little bit careful who I book, because that could get a little bit iffy, I suppose. But or we'll just all play complete... Like, we'll just plead ignorance, I suppose, might be the best bet. I'd be interested to see, I mean, there are some good names in the AAA female roster. So it'd be nice to see who we can lane up against next time. We've got Lady Shani, we've got La Higuera, Lady Flammer, and we've got Dallas as well, we saw the other day. We've got Fabi Apache. So there are some good options we could put up against some of our ladies here, because I really want to utilise some that haven't had a lot of opportunities. I mean, there's Lola... The ones as well that I do think suit the style. So you've got Lola Vice, you've got Sol Ruka, you've got Stephanie Vaquer, you've got Lyra Valkyria, someone we haven't used very much as well. So I'd like to see all of those get opportunities. And of course we need to milk AJ Lee for all she's worth as well. Nice Meteora there by Mercedes Moné, taking down Stephanie Vaquer. So yeah, both these ladies are in a pretty good position in the ranking system at the moment. Both will believe, though, they should be higher up. And they both should be higher up. So winning matches like this is what's going to do it for them. I mean, they're both, what are they, 20th and 22nd at the moment. And there are some names above who probably are not the most... I mean, we've got Taya Valkyrie. That's someone who did work for AAA that is possibly someone we can use to try and put somebody else over in the nicest possible way. Because Taya's good, don't get me wrong, but I do feel like Taya Valkyrie is someone who probably should not be higher than some of the ladies who she is at this point. I think she might be former women's champion, is she? No. Why did I think that Taya Valkyrie was a former women's champion? She's just obviously done very, very well for herself then. Yeah, I don't know why then. I made that up, I suppose. Nice tilt-a-whirl backbreaker there by Stephanie Vaquer on Mercedes Moné. Moné smartly rolls to the outside. And of course, we could even use Mercedes Moné next week as part of When Worlds Collide as well, considering that she was a big mainstay of NXT for quite a chunk of time. There's the backbreaker. I did have planned at some point to do a pay-per-view, which is just going to be NXT... Well, basically just NXT in general, sort of black and gold versus current day NXT. Because black and gold NXT was the best, wasn't it? I mean, I know some people talk about now and this... The current NXT roster and NXT 2.0 is nothing compared to Black and Gold NXT. That's when it was really at its best and absolutely outstanding. As Mercedes Moné now stalking Stephanie Vaquer. Here with a backstab and a bank statement across into the submission. But this is the reason why Mercedes Moné has never done that well in previous years, because the submission was always a problem because, oh my god, it worked. Just as I was talking about how it doesn't work, it's only gonna bloody worked. So normally what's happened is you hit the backstabber, and then because you roll backwards and flip your opponent over, it always ends up as a rope break. But it seems 2K have made some changes to it this year, and Mercedes Moné has defended the championship successfully against Stephanie Vaquer. Vaquer at Forbidden Door 2025. Well, there we go. Stephanie Vaquer losing tonight. She's had a fantastic year so far, and it's not going to hurt too bad, don't get me wrong. I mean, she drops down to a +4 for the year, but still +4 overall. But Mercedes Moné, with that victory, moves up to a +5 for the year, +5 overall, and actually goes above of Stephanie Vaquer. But like I said, Stephanie Vaquer definitely going to get some big opportunities over the next couple of weeks at When Worlds Collide to show what she can do against some of the bigger names in AAA. And of course, don't forget, we've also got TNA in there as well. But there we go. Fantastic win there then for Mercedes Moné. Holds the championship up high. That sort of came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting that at that point. I was still talking bollocks about other stuff, and she went to get the tap-out victory. Just while I was saying that how bad her finishing maneuver is, because everyone always gets a rope break from it, and it looks like 2K's improved it. Right, it's time for WarGames. Right then, here we go into WarGames. Yeah, the game is definitely broken with WarGames. You know when you create it and it asks you who you want to put in what order, it's back to front for the left-hand side. So whereas it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, it actually isn't. It's the way around. which is fine. I figured it out now. That's the main thing. This originally was scheduled to be the House of Torture versus the Dark Order. However, I cannot find cause for Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Preston Vance, John Silver, Alex Reynolds. Nothing that looks even remotely like them. It's shocking, really. I found a really good Mr. Brody Lee, but because we've got to the point now, there's nothing to use him in, which is frustrating. So we'll definitely have to try and utilise him more in the future. I was thinking of potentially trying to use him next week as Luke Harper in some of the When Worlds Collide shows. We'll see if he can squeeze in somewhere. But yeah, we're kicking things off then with Josh Alexander representing the Don Callis family up against Ren Narita, the young lad representing the House of Torture. So House of Torture is going to be Evil, Sanada, Ren Narita and Douki, who is making his debut. Douki, actually, we've never used him before. Going up against the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Hechicero and Josh Alexander. So looking at the rankings then, yeah, Douki has never been used before in our universe mode. Evil currently sits on -3 after 6 matches. Sanada sits on 0 after 4 matches. And Ren Narita sits on +3 after 2 matches, which is quite impressive. And then on to the Don Callis. Right, are we back? Yep. Sorry, my recording software crashed again. Yeah, onto the Don Callis family then. We have got Josh Alexander, who is +2 for the year, but -2 overall after 8 matches. So still, he has a lot of work to do if he wants to showcase what he can do. Hechicero is currently -4 after 5 matches. Wow. So Hechicero has lost every single match he has been in. However, this year he has gained 1 point for getting an elimination in one of the bigger matches. So Hechicero's got a hell of a lot of work to do to level himself up. We have got Kyle Fletcher, who is -1 after 3 matches. All 3 of those matches are this year. And then we have got Konosuke Takeshita, who is currently +5 after 14 matches. The Don Callis family in a pretty rough position, really, considering how good they all are. And I mean, this is a big opportunity tonight then for them all to get themselves a point. I say they all need it, really. Ray Hechicero never ever won a match in this universe mode, which shocks me because I've given him a lot of chances. Has he wrestled for AAA before, Hechicero? Is he just the CMLL guy? Nope, just CMLL. Okay. So we can't utilise him next week. This is Douki then entering the match. Don't know a ton about Douki. That's a bit of a funky word, isn't it? But there you go. So Douki is a junior heavyweight. He is former no, he's not. He's former New Japan IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion. He's a member of Suzuki Gun for a few years, and before now joining the House of Torture back at Dominion. Oh, he's actually only joined it a couple of months ago. And he also is now holding, so he's actually currently holding the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship now alongside Show as part of the House of Torture. He's also a former Junior Heavyweight Champion on his own, the singles champion. That was back earlier this year. He lost it to El Desperado. I know he won it last year in July and then lost it to El Desperado back at Wrestle Kingdom in January. So yeah, Douki's not bad. He is a young lad as well, is he? He is 33 years of age. He's still got a while to go. And it's nice to get another debutant here today. As Hechicero now locking in the submission on Ren Narita. Remember, the WarGames rules are that nothing will happen until all 8 men are in the ring. In comes Konosuke Takeshita. Nice dragon suplex there by Douki. So once all 8 men are in the ring, the bell will go and then it will be first pinfall or submission to get the victory. But up until then, we're going to be just basically beating the living crap out of each other and doing some damage. Hechicero with a strike over the top. Douki though, with a knee in the gut. And yeah, I mean, again, what happens, happens. Don't get me wrong. However, I feel like I would prefer a Don Callis family victory Just because I feel like the likes of Josh Alexander, Rey Hechicero, and Kyle Fletcher should be a lot higher up in the rankings. I mean, even Konosuke Takeshita, only on +5, probably should be higher up. He's a real superstar at the moment, is Takeshita. Because I feel like he's someone who should be in and around some of the championship pictures as well. So next up then, the countdown begins. It's going to be the entrance of, I believe, Sanada for the House of Torture, which will level us up at 3 people per team. Yep, here comes Sanada now. That just leaves us with Kyle Fletcher and Evil to balance out the numbers. Talking of numbers, still don't forget we've got 2 more matches coming for you after this one. We have got Jushin, Liger, El Santo, Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson in a 4-way Legends elimination match before the main event of the evening. Will Ospreay defending the Intercontinental Championship against Swerve, Strickland and Bandido. Sanada in the ring now trying to showcase his strength. I mean, Sanada is someone we could utilise this next week, couldn't we really? Of course, he spent a good few years in TNA. Same with Josh Alexander. Now, I wasn't planning on using... No, we have got a match planned for Josh Alexander. Mr. J, who's been knocking around the comment section for many years, has suggested a fatal 4-way elimination match for the United States Championship. Kurt Angle will be defending against Chad Gable, Josh Alexander and Jack Swagger. Hechicero now looking to bring Sanada back up. Big strike into the back. And it is Don Callis' family who's firmly in control at the moment. And remember, Don Callis' family also has the numbers advantage, so we will be seeing Kyle Fletcher very, very soon in this one. And right on cue, the countdown has begun. And here comes Kyle Fletcher. So one more entrant left, then it will be Evil later on. And it's a big opportunity now with a 4-on-3 situation to cause as much damage as possible, so that when Evil does enter the ring, you can try and get the quick pinfall victory. Let's get Takeshita now with Douki up. In with the sit-out last ride, the Liger bomb, if you will. Hechicero now taking up. Wow, Sanada into the backbreaker. There's a strike in the gut, another one, but Ren Narita saw it coming, tripping him over. Fletcher now catching Ren Narita with a half-and-half suplex. Rey Hechicero with the elbow in the gut of Douki. And now going to take him up into the brainbuster position. But Douki able to fall out the back and chop away at the back of the leg of Rey Hechicero. So at the moment, the Don Callis family are in full control of this match. And like I said, as soon as Evil enters the ring in 5 seconds' time, the match will officially begin. And there will be the opportunity for someone to get the pinfall or submission victory. Here comes Evil. He's the last man to enter, so it's up to him whether he's going to go straight in. He is going to go straight in. There would have been an opportunity for him potentially to get some more toys from under the ring beforehand. There you go, the bell is gone, and already Ren Narita has Konosuke Takeshita locked in with the submission hold. There you go, the bell's gone now, so its first pinfall or submission will pick up the victory. As you see a nice sit-out powerbomb there by Kyle Fletcher on Evil, whose back of the head landed on the stop sign. Douki has set up a table in the other ring. Half-and-half suplex once again by Kyle Fletcher on Douki, and then a nice springboard dropkick there by Hechicero, taking down Ren Narita. Now Hechicero rolling Narita through into the submission. Somebody won. Who was that? I heard the match end, but I've got no idea who won it. I got a feeling it was Josh Alexander, you know. I think Josh Alexander just won that by tap out, but I'm not 100% sure because I was too busy watching Hechicero. I think that was the case, you know. Okay, I'm going to start updating the rankings because it's going to take me ages anyway, isn't it? So, if I am correct, I'm just going to go for the fact that I'm correct for now. We can change it if I'm not. So, Konosuke Takeshita moves up to a +6. Kyle Fletcher is going to move up to a 4 matches. Hechicero, with his first ever win in SWE, is going to move up to a -3 after 6 matches. And we have Josh Alexander, who picks up the point and moves up to a -1 after 9 matches. On the flip side then, Evil, I was right, okay. Evil, with that loss, moves down to a -4. Sanada, with that loss, moves down to a -1. Douki, with that loss, moves down to a -1. And Ren Narita, with that loss, moves down to a +2. There we go then. Big victory for the Don Callis family. They really did need that. I mean, Josh Alexander, Hechicero still very much in the doldrums down there in the minuses, but they'll continue to build more and more as they go. Konosuke Takeshita continues to push his way towards championship pictures, and Kyle Fletcher continues his first year here. He just needs to balance things out. I mean, he's balanced out now. He's back to 0, but he just needs to start showing what he can do and picking up some wins. Right then, here we go. We are underway with another Legends 4-way. We have got Jushin Thunder Liger representing New Japan Pro Wrestling. We've got El Santo representing CMLL. We've got Chris Jericho representing AEW. And we've got Bryan Danielson representing Ring of Honor. So yeah, big opportunity here for these 4 guys. We saw earlier on the difference it's going to make for Tanahashi in this universe mode. Let's have a quick look and see where these guys sit. So Jushin Thunder Liger currently sits on +8 after 13 matches, which is pretty damn good, to be honest. El Santo is on +1 after 5 matches. Chris Jericho is on +8 after 33 matches. And the big man himself, Bryan Danielson, 9th position in the rankings on +19 after 53 matches. So there's big opportunities here. I mean, all 4 of these guys are represented quite well. I mean, El Santo is probably the lowest, obviously, because we haven't really used him that often, only 5 matches. I'm hoping this El Santo is a little bit more realistic than the previous one, because this one does have a more classical moveset. The other one I had a comment from someone who was, I'm assuming Latin, who suggested that the moveset that was on the previous El Santo wasn't right for El Santo, nor was it even right for El Santo Jr. Or El Hijo del Santo, should we say. So it is, hopefully this is a better one. As Jushin Thunder Liger is hoping that El Santo's not going to get an opportunity to even prove himself, as Jushin Thunder Liger completely flattens El Santo. Liger now with a boot into the spine. El Santo's had really no offense at all so far. There is a really good Jushin Liger coming out, by the way, but the guy who's made it, he's made every single logo on the body by hand, which really means that everything is absolutely spot on. Everything is really smooth, and it looks like a real model in the game. Well, it looks better than that, obviously, because we know that 2K used a lot of AI to generate a lot of the bloody models in the game, didn't they? But he's done an absolutely fantastic job. He just hasn't released it yet, which is a shame. I really wanted to get him used. And, I mean, looking across to next week when Worlds Collide, I feel like Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson are 2 that we could possibly use. It all depends on who there is and whether the match would be worth it. I think that's the main thing. I'm not just going to throw people in there just for the sake of it, because we already have a very bloated roster, as we have done this week. So I only want to use people in there if it does make sense. As it's Bryan Danielson now sending Jushin Liger to the outside. Danielson going to spring off the ropes here with a dive, taken down Jushin Thunder Liger. Nice takedown. There's the pin now by El Santo on Chris Jericho. Barely even a 1 count. Nice snap suplex there by Danielson as El Santo now taking Jericho up. No, Jericho reverses it into a splash. Now remember, this is a Fatal 4-Way elimination match, so it's 1 point for every elimination. It's a bonus point for the winner in this one. It's also no disqualifications, no countouts, and falls count anywhere. The only way to win is for all of your opponents to be pinned or submitted. Now you don't necessarily have to pin or submit them all. You just have to be the last man standing, essentially. You just have to get the last one. As Danielson now stalking. Liger locking him in to the bell lock. Look at him wrenching back at the neck. Absolutely brutal. Liger able to roll him through. There's the boot in the back of the leg now by Danielson. Pinned by Jericho and El Santo. Only a 2 count. Jericho now just standing on the hand of El Santo, will stamping on the back. Danielson with the pin on Liger. Again, only a 2 count. Jericho now diving to the outside from the top rope. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely flew through the air. Don't forget, we've still got one more big match for you after this one. The main event of the evening, the Intercontinental Championship match. We will see Will Ospreay defending his championship in what is probably the hardest match he's had so far for the Intercontinental belt against both Swerve, Strickland and Bandido. Danielson now running knee strike on Jericho, drops into the pin. Will this be the first elimination? It's not, it's only a 2 count still. El Santo now stalking the grounded Jushin Liger. He does have him. I think Liger's going to be able to break free from that. Here's the walls of Jericho locked in by Chris Jericho on Bryan Danielson. And it's only enough for the 2. No, I mean, it's a submission hold. What I meant was it wasn't enough to get the win. My brain's not working for this, I tell you. This has been far too much of a week for me. I've recorded so many bloody videos. It's far too many. We are going to reduce it down over the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully with that reduced schedule will allow me to actually start doing things like the Latin American Championship Tournament that I keep talking about and MZK Punk keeps laughing at me for. Nice spinning heel kick there by El Santo. Jericho dragging Danielson, throws him back into the ring. Look at the boot in the spine. Danielson's back up running. Forearm flew across the ring. And Danielson now willing Jericho back up to his feet. The referee's flat out, so if someone goes for a pin now, it's not really going to be much use. Springboard dropkick by Danielson, and then, oh, Liger caught him, taking Danielson straight up into a running Liger bomb. But again, the referee's not there to count it, so Liger doesn't even bother. Ref is now back up. Liger going to drop Jericho face first across the top rope. I bet Liger versus Jericho must have happened back in WCW, mustn't it? Liger versus Jericho must have happened. No. I don't mean a Liger as in a mix of a thunder and a tiger and a lion. I mean, Chris Jericho has never wrestled a... That's stupid, ain't it? No, okay. Jushin Thunder Liger and Chris Jericho never had an official one-on-one singles match. They did briefly compete in a tag team in 1996 when Jericho shortly-lived Super Liger gimmick. Okay. But they never wrestled against each other then. They did have a... Yeah, there we go. So they had a big tag team match at WrestleMania in 1996. Liger, Jericho, Juventud Guerrera and Jido versus Ultimate Dragon, Rey Mysterio, Lance Storm and Yuri Yaskaroa. And Jericho briefly given the Super Liger gimmick in New Japan with the intention of feuding with Liger. It was scrapped due to difficulties Jericho had with the mask, and the opponent wasn't enthusiastic about the opportunity. In 2024, Jericho invited Liger to return for one final match at the 2025 Rockin' Wrestling Rager Cruise. Liger, who originally retired back in 2020, declined the offer, citing his age. Well done, Liger, you know. Many men have gone too far in their careers and ended up, you know the old-fashioned phrase, always leave them wanting more. Don't do what the likes of Goldberg did and always want them wanting less. El Santo now tripping over Liger. So yeah, I'm surprised that Liger and Jericho never did. They were both part of that fantastic cruiserweight division in WCW. Jericho now with a strike in the face of Danielson. Now with a flatliner. Almost like a stroke, dropping him face first into the very thin matting on the outside. El Santo now dragging Liger away from the ropes. El Santo in control of Liger here. Liger getting back over his feet. El Santo drops him with a drop kick in the back. Jericho now on the back of El Santo. El Santo fighting back. And now there's the nutbuster turned into the splash as well. Nice maneuver there. Pin by El Santo on Chris Jericho. No eliminations in the match as of yet, but there is the first one. Chris Jericho is eliminated by El Santo. Chris Jericho then with that loss moves down to a +7. And El Santo with that elimination moves up to a +2. And there's still obviously big opportunities here. El Santo throwing the trash can lid at Jushin Thunder Liger, then got caught with a dragon suplex by Danielson. Danielson sending Liger off the ropes, looking to catch him in the belly. Liger fighting back. El Santo, yeah mate, come on mate. El Santo's mask has obviously caused him trouble. He went for a dropkick there and completely was just nowhere near him. Liger with a pin, and Liger, oh, that's only a 2 count. I thought that was going to be it there for a moment. Liger now tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Danielson. And now look at Liger and El Santo just stared each other down before both going for the strike. It was Liger who got there first. Went for the step into Guri. El Santo pushed him away and then went for a springboard. He did get him, not as much as he wanted to, but it was effective nonetheless. And Danielson now with the boots across the head, across the chest, across everything of El Santo. And there's the big German suplex, crashing the back of the head first onto the trash can lid. Oh, look at that. Jushin Liger came back in the ring and just decked the back of Danielson with the steel chair. And now look at Jushin Liger really just swinging that steel chair at Danielson. Danielson back up. There's a running knee strike. Flattens Jushin Liger. That should be the elimination for the 1, the 2. No, only a 2. There's only a 1. How on earth was that? How on earth was that only enough for a 1 count? Jushin Liger showing incredible resilience to kick out of that. Referee gave the slowest count in history, but Jushin Liger has just pinned. Jushin Liger has just pinned Bryan Danielson to eliminate, and Jushin Liger moves up to a +9 after 13 matches. And Bryan Danielson, is going to move down, not Brian Keith, Bryan Danielson, to a +18 after 54 matches. There's a knee bar now locked in by El Santo on Jushin Liger. Both guys do survive. El Santo manages to roll to the outside. Yeah, interesting to see what they do here, to be honest. I mean, both guys will be really appreciative of this victory. As Jushin Thunder Liger is now up in 49th position. And he might... Oh, he's going down, though. Jushin Thunder Liger loses the match. Drops down to a +8 overall, so where he started the match. And it's El Santo today who's going to get the real changes here. El Santo now gets a +3 from this match altogether. So this is big for El Santo. He's now +4 from 6 matches, which is fantastic. That's going to take him from 252nd position all the way up to 118th position. So massive win for him. And it's really going to just increase the opportunities moving forward. It now puts him equal with CM Punk, because CM Punk has been terrible this year. Well, there we go. Big victory then for El Santo. Not only getting the victory, but eliminating 2 of his opponents out of the 3 in the process. So that is absolutely huge for him. There was a nutbuster and a splash earlier on in the match. And this is what we needed to happen. I mean, we've seen a really big win here for El Santo and Tanahashi. Then both of them reinforcing their positions and moving themselves up the rankings quite considerably. Neither at this point in time are probably going to be getting a championship match, but a couple more wins like that and all of a sudden you open up some doors. Talking of championship matches, it's now time for the main event of the evening. Will Ospreay, Bandido, Swerve Strickland, SWE Intercontinental Championship. And here we go then, Intercontinental Championship on the line. Will Ospreay's had a fantastic year so far. He was a double champion for quite some time. Of course, he dropped his Cruiserweight Championship last week, with Sammy Guevara walking away from the first episode of Forbidden Door. And then tonight, it's not an easy task at all to walk away with the Intercontinental Championship against both Bandido and Swerve Strickland. Will Ospreay currently 3rd in the ranking system, then +5 for the year, +23 overall. Now, of course, we did have a 10-man elimination gauntlet match set up to crown the #1 contender, and it was Swerve Strickland who was the last man in the ring at the time. However, the game bugged out. Bandido was the 10th and final entrant, and that's why we ended up making this triple threat, because we can't punish Swerve, we can't punish Bandido. I mean, Bandido was the 10th and final person to enter. He would have been the favourite. That's why we end up with this triple threat. So Swerve Strickland is on a +6 after 15 matches. And Bandido is on a +9 after 16 matches. So, I mean, all 3 of these guys are very highly rated, and that's exactly what we want to see. I need to start utilising the ranking system more. At the moment, we're keeping track of everything. We're not really utilising it as much as we should do. So I think for next week when Worlds Collide, we are going to try and do so more, using people that are close to each other on the ranking system and making sure that the people going for the championships are the ones that deserve it. Obviously fitting the roster style, but I mean, already as the #1 contendership for the SWE Championship, it will be Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Batista and Roman Reigns, who are currently 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th in the ranking system. I think for the Intercontinental Championship, I was eyeing up the trio of Jeff Cobb, Bron Breakker and Samoa Joe as a #1 contendership, which they are currently 14th, 15th and 16th in the ranking system. So it's all a mixture. Either you suit the style or you're high in the ranking system and you're a big name. Swerve now has a hold of Will Ospreay, rolls him through, springs off the ropes, in with a big boot right across the chest of Ospreay, brings him back up to a standing base, and now around the back, in with a snap dragon. Bandido's there as well, though. Nice suplex. Ospreay now around the back of Bandido, and of course Ospreay, like I said, was the former Cruiserweight champion, lost that belt last week, and this is his big opportunity to keep a hold of this one. He doesn't want to go losing both championships in the same week. That would not be a good week at all for the one of the best wrestlers in the world now, if not ever, to be honest. I mean, it all depends on style. I mean, you can say one of the best wrestlers ever, but it depends on what you prefer style-wise. I mean, there's some people that massively prefer someone like Zack Sabre Jr. because of his style. There's some people who absolutely love Will Ospreay because of his style. And there's some people who are not all there in their head that think that Roman Reigns is the best wrestler of all time. But, you know, it is what it is. Who are the Aztec Warriors? Oh. Octagon and Laredo Kid are a tag team called the Aztec Warriors. There we go. That's that sorted for next week. Another easy one. Look at that. Will Ospreay sending Swerve straight into the post. Remember, it is triple threat rules, so no count-outs, no disqualifications. And essentially, points-wise is massive as well. You're not just winning the championship to win this. You're getting 3 ranking points, which, I mean, if Ospreay was to win this, those 3 ranking points would be enough to put him joint second in the ranking system alongside Okada, only 4 points behind Bret Hart, who is currently top of the system. I mean, Bret Hart does seem like the obvious one to get the opportunity for the championship, doesn't he? But we've had so much of Bret Hart, and I feel like when it comes to when worlds collide, I'm not sure Bret Hart's style is going to be as fantastic against some of the main AAA. The thing is, I keep thinking about AAA, what we can do with AAA. I keep forgetting that TNA is involved as well. Which is unfortunate, I know, but we've got to do it. That's powerbomb there. Will Ospreay now in control of Bandido. Swerve up on the top. Swerve, double axe handle. Ospreay wasn't even paying attention to what Swerve was up to, and he absolutely clattered him. And now it's Bandido back up on his feet going after Swerve. Bandido, for me, has been a real breakout this year. I mean, I've always known that Bandido was good. Don't get me wrong. I've always known that Bandido was good, but this year's been a real breakout year for Bandido, for me anyway. I knew he was good. I didn't realise how good he actually was. This year's been fantastic. I mean, the matches against Hechicero and the previous... Oh, who was it against last time? Takeshita, obviously. What am I on about? Yeah. He's had back-to-back 5-star matches at Ring of Honor pay-per-views with Hechicero and Konosuke Takeshita. He's had some fantastic matches on TV as well. Ring of Honor champion as well as AEW Tag Team champion now, of course, apart alongside Brody King. Nice suplex there by Swerve. And that'd be the worst thing for Ospreay, by the way, is if one of Bandido or Swerve actually pin each other, because that means Ospreay's lost the belt without even being pinned. Nice standing, springboard moonsault there by Swerve, taking down both opponents with one foul swoop. Lovely drop kick there by Swerve, taking down Bandido, who folded in half as he fell backwards. Ospreay now dragging Bandido across to the other side of the ring. Going to spring him off the rope. Springboard back into the Ozcutter. Swerve is there, though. He's going to break that pin up straight away. And there's the boots, the strikes, the everything. Ospreay now turning Swerve around. Off the ropes in with the standing Spanish fly almost, I suppose. Lovely takedown there by Swerve as well. And Ospreay, this is a big opportunity. Bandido's down and out here. Swerve could have this. Swerve back up to his feet. Oh, I tell you what, Bandido was too slow, but Swerve nearly had it. Ospreay able to kick out just before the 3 count. Swerve now the elbows into the gut of Bandido. So Bandido, I believe, has worked for AAA. I think mainly as part of the... part of the AAA and AEW link-up back in 2018, as well as in 21 to 23. So Bandido could work as part of our next 2 weeks. Swerve, of course, could work as well. I mean, Will Ospreay's the only one who hasn't... Will Ospreay did have a couple of nights at TNA, didn't he? So, very loosely... But, I mean, if Will Ospreay loses the championship here, Will Ospreay will not be involved. If Will Ospreay defends the championship, then obviously Will Ospreay will be involved to defend the championship as part of When Worlds Collide. Bandido there breaking up the pin. And Bandido now sending Ospreay into the corner. Up on top, lovely head scissors takedown, and Swerve went for the pump kick. Bandido avoided a drop kick into the back of Swerve. Ospreay now with a boot into the gut. Is he looking for Storm Zero? He's up on the shoulder. And he hits it. That's not Storm Zero. That's Storm Breaker. What am I on about, Storm Zero? That's Tony Storm's power driver, isn't it? But it was too slow, and Swerve was able to get there and break up the pin attempt. Swerve now sending Ospreay into the corner. Ospreay fighting back. There's a super kick into the knee. And then backflips across into a German suplex. Bandido broke the pin attempt. There's the roll through head scissors. Now, what is Bandido's thoughts here? He's got both his opponents down. He should really try and pin one, but he didn't. He now springs off the ropes in with a dropkick. And wow, Swerve came in the other side, and I think Bandido caught them both, but I think Ospreay got the worst of it, sort of just sandwiched between. Bandido, went for the springboard over the top, and Ospreay was able to avoid. Ospreay now springboard back with a kick on the side of the head of Bandido. Went for the pin, but Swerve was there to break it up. Swerve now with a knee strike. And then poison rounded by Will Ospreay. But Swerve able to kick Ospreay away, stopping him from going for the pin. Bandido tried to catch Swerve from behind. Swerve now has Ospreay up on the shoulders, captured. Folds him in half. Bandido now, baseball bat right across the back of Swerve, across the chest and across the leg, boot across the chest as well. Bandido, you've got to go for a pin here, mate. Bandido does go for the pin on Ospreay. Of course, Swerve had done the damage. Bandido, trying to get the drive-by. That would have been a highway robbery if Bandido had stole the win there. With Swerve doing the damage and Bandido just twatting Swerve with a baseball bat. Swerve, baseball bat right across the back of Ospreay. And now right across the face of the grounded Bandido as well. There's the pin. Ospreay is not in a very good position. He is going to get there just in time, though, to break it up. Ospreay springboards off into the reverse DDT. There's a pin of his own now. Bandido over the top with the elbow drop, breaking up the pin. That was quite a realistic move, that. I like that. Ospreay now with the boots into the back of the arm of Swerve. Big one into the face as well. Ospreay now wrenching back at the hand of Swerve. And big knees into the spine as well. And Bandido, baseball bat clattered between the eyes of both opponents. This is Bandido's opportunity now. Springs up to the top. Corkscrew into a moonsault. There's the pin. This could be brand new champion. It's only two. Ospreay was down on the outside. That was a big opportunity there for Bandido to get the pin. Only a 2 count. Swerve was able to break free. Will Ospreay summoned in the spirit of Callisto. Lovely roll through into the flatliner by Swerve, who then takes a baseball bat between the eyes. And Swerve is getting pinned now by Ospreay. And Ospreay's done it. It was the baseball bat between the eyes of Swerve that won the match. And Will Ospreay continues his dominant run this year. That puts him up to a +8 for the year, +26 overall, which now puts him joint second in the rankings alongside Okada. Bandido with that loss then moves down to a +8 after 17 matches. And Swerve. He goes down to a +5 after 16 matches. Great match that was, and a great defense for Will Ospreay, who of course defended it back at Mayhem against Owen Hart. This is another defense now. Defended against Swerve and Bandido at Forbidden Door 2025. There we go. Right, the ranking system is up to date. The championship screen is up to date. And we are finally up to date. I know this has been a bit late. It was supposed to be uploaded about 2 or 3 hours ago. But as I said, this week has just been far too much. I don't know why I keep moaning about it, because I'm the problem here. I'm the one who's booked all this crap. So, again, we are going to be reducing the schedule down almost by half, over half, I think, over the next couple of weeks. So hopefully that will give me enough time to start doing some other bits and bobs, as well as the Latin American Championship tournament I keep promising. Alright then, massive victory for Will Ospreay in the main event of Forbidden Door. He retains the Intercontinental Championship. He has lost the SWE Cruiserweight Championship. I don't think that's going to be too much of a massive problem for him. I think the fact that he retains this belt is the big one for him. This is the championship that's getting him main event spots at pay-per-views, and it's just guaranteed him another main event spot in a couple of weeks' time at When Worlds Collide. Right then, there we go. I'm a love you, leave you. Good night, God bless, Auf Wiedersehen. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I know it's not been my best performance, I don't think, mainly because of just how much I've had to record over the last couple of days, to be honest with you, but we're fine. And of course, we will have When Worlds Collide beginning tomorrow. I've got 3 matches planned in. I'm not going to go through them at the moment because I need to run it through ChatGPT first and see if they want to reorganize stuff, because they generally... ChatGPT generally likes to reorganize the matches to make it flow a bit better. So at the moment it's penciled in the Steiner Brothers versus Demolition in the #1 contendership tournament for the tag team titles. That's an 8-team tournament we're going to have over the space of the next couple of weeks. Matt Riddle versus CM Punk, as well as a 4-way elimination match, #1 contendership for the SWE Championship. The winner goes on to face off against Malachi Black at When Worlds Collide next weekend. Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns and Batista. Right, I'm a love you, leave you. Good night, God bless, I'll be the same. Please do like and subscribe and all the other stuff, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.